Aloha all. This is my 17th podcast for Unconventional Insights. Today just turned the season of Scorpio, which I totally love. So this podcast, number 17, is entitled The Transformation Challenge. We're going to do this together for the next 30 days till the end of November. So, Scorpio time has to do with, in astrology, sex, death, transformation. So the next 30 days before 2019 is done, do not let this year go by with you saying, why didn't I do that? It's the same shit. Don't do it. Just let it go. So think of an aspect of your life that you want to transform. If it's your body that you've wanted to lose that 5 to 10 pounds, do it. If it's joining a gym finally, or a yoga class, or some other type of movement, do it. If it's eliminating something from your toxic diet that you ingest, if it's alcohol or sugar or dairy or whatever, choose one thing. If it's taking up a sport that you've always wanted to learn, or learning to play a musical instrument, take a lesson, improve yourself. Take a lesson in a language class, in something that you've always wanted to do, in a writing class, in something. At the gym, this is my thing, any of you that have listened, increase your weights or increase how many days you go consistently for the next 30 days. So this we're just going to try for 30 days. There's a couple more if we're working on the body. So for yoga or Zumba classes, take more classes than you normally do. So if you take 1 or 2 a week, try to take 3 to 5 a week and do it consistently just for a month. Now, I personally do 450 to 600 crunches a week. So I increased that just last week by doing total leg lifts and crunches. So I did 450 leg lifts and I kept doing my 600 crunches. So any of you that know me, these are definitely not old broad abs. That's for sure. This is some steel stuff going on here. Now, if the area of transformation is your mind, then take a meditation class or listen to 1,000,000 YouTubes or podcasts. Challenge yourself to meditate every day. Now, I tell this always to my listeners, to my clients, to my students. So, set your alarm on your phone that happens to always be part of your body, and set it for 10 minutes, for 15 minutes, for 20 minutes, for 30 minutes. Commit to something. Whatever you do. If you don't do any meditation, do it for 10 minutes a day. If you tend to be a meditator but come and go, do it for at least 20 to 30 minutes. Whatever time you commit to, be consistent every single day for the next 30 days. And let me tell you, this means if you're sitting on the cushion or sitting outside or attempting to meditate and you are just thinking of 1,000,000 things, again, take a cleansing breath, let it go, and come back to your body. And always using the breath as an anchor, using the sensations of how it feels to be seated. If there's sound anywhere around you, near or far, use all of the senses to help anchor you. And regardless if you're spinning thoughts or sitting there in heaven at one with the universe, stay seated until your alarm goes off. And I guarantee, out of nowhere, somewhere in that 30 days, you're going to have some incredible revelations where your mind dissolves and you just have insight. You just have a knowingness, a deep peace. It's good for your heart. It's good for your body, for blood pressure, for all those things. And it helps to sharpen your mind. I know for a fact that meditation helps prevent dementia and Alzheimer's. So begin meditating. There are many things you could do for your mind to improve your memory and your cognitive abilities. There are supplements you can take, such as CoQ10 or something called PS100. I can't keep that on the shelf with my clients in Maui or here. I love it. You could remove sugar and alcohol from your diet because that creates that amyloid plaque in your brain, which is corresponding to Alzheimer's. Start doing consistent crossword puzzles or word games or mind bender exercises online. I get emails for this stuff all the time. There are so many things accessible to us. Also for the mind, again, I'm a proponent of journaling, so I say journal for 10 minutes every day. Set that timer on your phone and for 30 days. And if your journaling is just downloading your day so that you could just get it out, clear it out, move it through. And every time I say this to my clients, they'll say, I know I thought of you today, but I didn't journal. Why don't you do it anyways? Why don't you do journaling saying, I hate journaling? Why don't you do 2 minutes of how much it sucks to journal? Do whatever it takes. I don't care what you write. Just do it for 10 minutes. And I've offered before my favorite journaling exercise. If you're in a negative thought pattern, set your timer for 10 minutes. Think of the negative thought, but only write its polar opposite, the positive, on the paper. And that helps to reboot your brain and get your systems back in alignment. So, also in this 30-day transformational challenge, so the point of transforming something in your life is I want you to access. So if we look at where we're stuck or dead or dusty or there's no energy moving there, often it is surrounded by fear. Now, if we were to authentically look to see what are we most terrified of, and to go there, again, is it a physical challenge? Is it a mental challenge? Is it an emotional challenge? I'll get to emotions in a minute. But notice where you're most afraid and know that fear is a projection of the mind. So first, let me qualify something. If you are walking through a dangerous area at night by yourself, then fear is to keep you alive. But if fear comes up unwarranted for nothing scary in front of you, you are just afraid to do this because of what? All beings are afraid of death and abandonment. Those are our two greatest core fears. So if we could reduce whatever is keeping you from this experience, this transformation, whatever fear it is, and just drop into it and surrender to it and know that I don't want to let my mind take over. I actually want to be more than I have ever known this lifetime. I want to experience more than I've ever known. As humans, we're here to fully experience the whole human existence. And that has to do with like emotions and stickiness and sadness and disappointments and joys and ecstasy and bliss and beyond words and the most beautiful, beautiful things about humans. So why not, before this journey's over, figure out where your greatest fears are. Know that your mind has fixed in and dug in that area to keep you from growing, to keep you from being all that you can be. I don't mean to steal the pun there, but... And really push yourself. I've often said when teaching students about mental detox and various things that another way of preventing Alzheimer's, dementia, fogginess, lack of mental abilities is to do something new, is to challenge yourself in a new area, because when we put ourselves in an unfamiliar territory, it actually creates neurons in the brain and new neural pathways that will connect the right and left hemispheres, and it actually looks like a spider web, but in a good way, where it's one linking pathway like a highway to the other. It just, the more new challenges you do, the more new experiences you put yourself in, where it feels edgy, where it feels uncomfortable, where I've never done this before, where I should have said no. All those thoughts coming up, but you do it anyways with that adrenaline, that pulsing adrenaline going through your body. Know that you are creating a new pathway connecting other areas of your brain that previously have not been accessed. How about that for having full access to your brain? The more we can utilize our brain to its fullest capacity, the more we take in information all around us, subtle versus gross versus whatever's happening, and we can actually integrate it and use it and be creative with it. And it's incredible. So I'm asking you to challenge yourself with this transformation challenge and put yourself in a normally uncomfortable place, bringing tenderness to that, yet do it anyways. I always told my daughter, she used to be afraid a lot as a child, and I said, Mommy's afraid most days, but I notice the fear and I do it anyways. So I bring that tenderness to myself and I do it anyways. So, emotional challenge. These are my favorites. We as humans are so emotionally stunted. We're not in a culture that in any way encourages authentic expression or how to speak up in the moment when something is coming up. It doesn't teach us tools to be vulnerable. I mean, this isn't just like with our friends. This is with our lovers, with our partners, with our family, with people that matter to us, to our roommates, with everything. We just don't have the tools of being vulnerable. What does vulnerable mean? It means that you're afraid. It means that it's raw and I'm about to do something that scares me. I'm aware of it scaring me and I'm doing it anyways. That's what vulnerable is. It's raw. You may reject me. You may leave. I may be alone. That's everything going on underneath that. So taking an emotional challenge, if you want to ask someone out that you were afraid to ask out previously, or you think they're out of your league, be creative. Just be authentic. Go up and say something that you genuinely feel about that person. Or text them, or however you're going to connect with them initially, and then ask them out. Let's go for a walk. Let's go for a cup of coffee. Let's do something. If you're in a current relationship at whatever stage that's at, and you're afraid to share your true feelings by saying, I love you, or I'm out of here, or saying, I'm afraid of commitment. So many times. So that's one of my favorite things. Again, the Libra in me is seeing how people relate, how I relate, how people around me and clients that have come to me and needed a little direction. So many times when I am counseling couples or even individuals that their issue is about relationship or that they constantly make the same mistakes in their past relationships, so they're afraid to go further. If you have authentic communication and connection with a person in your life that you care deeply for, and you notice when your fear comes up, yet you do it anyways, that is the indicator that you're actually doing your real work. That's the indicator that you are allowing love to be greater than your fear. When you are doing that, you are utilizing your whole heart. This is the true juice to transform, to change what you have not known before. I guarantee that adrenaline in your body as it surges through your veins. We have so when fear is in front of us, basically we have the fight or flight response, which means that you're actually engaged where there is that adrenaline and different hormones are secreting, and we're like ready to either fight or bail. How about noticing all that intensity, taking some deep breaths, grounding it in your body, assuring yourself by saying, I am not going to die because of this. I am with me no matter what. If I am the only person left, I will never leave myself. So we can't guarantee when you do something, when you take this challenge, if it has to do with another person, that they won't leave because they may not be ready. But be grateful that you didn't waste any more time. If you want to be authentic and say what you want to feel, do it. Because I'll tell you what, people that are afraid of really saying what they're feeling, because what does this mean? I don't know the future. There is no one on the planet that knows the future. And when we talk about what the illusion of security is, it is all an illusion, because being married doesn't make it happily ever after, having children, committing to a dog, buying a house together, living together. There is no circumstance that I have ever encountered in all of my years in counseling so many people that there was anything that was this clad iron contract that they couldn't get out of. All of life is choice. Where we cheat ourselves in regards to intimacy or a deeper connection with a person by withholding what we really feel, is we are in a place that we want to keep the status quo because we're afraid of the relationship changing. Yet in that change, with it, we have to bring new we have to move in a different way. We have to show up in a new way. We have to engage more of our skills and our tools and our feelings that we haven't before. And as I said, if that person isn't ready for it, let them go so that you can draw someone else in who might be ready for it. Don't let it scare you. Where we cheat ourselves is when we're saying, what does this mean in the future? Let's say you just had this wonderful encounter and your boyfriend told you whatever, something you've wanted to hear forever. And you instantly start, because women tend to be a little worse about this than men, but not necessarily, and you start to think, what does this mean for my future? The moment your mind goes there to think about the future, you're cheating yourself from the present. So I was just talking to a client this week who was dealing with some depression. And I want to say to all of you out there, when you are obsessed or frequently thinking about the past, this is a symptom that causes depression. When you are a person that is obsessed or frequently thinking about the future, this is what causes anxiety. Because the truth is, we only have power right this moment, in the now. I only know what is true now. So think about any relationship, friendship, roommates, relationship with family, with employers, with coworkers, with whoever it is, and think of the relationship in this moment. And that is all you know, not what you want it to be or what it was, because all that's a waste of time. That's mind screwing. Don't even do it. Just stick with what is. When you notice out of fear that you want to know, what does this mean when you say something, when you're authentic and showing up, or when someone says something to you, you do have the right to clarify, I'm saying this to you because this is how I feel. Or if someone says something to you, you could say, that was beautiful. Can you clarify what it means? You can ask someone what it means, and not saying, we're happily ever after, because sometimes that's too much in new relationships. But it does say that I'm opening my heart, that I'm taking a chance, that I want to be more than I've ever been before. So, yes, a couple of you out there know who I'm talking to. So we never know what's going to happen in life, and the only thing that is a true constant is that change always happens. Again, I tend to go towards counseling on relationships, and the only way that you could keep from being blindsided in a partnership is to stay connected and communicate and share on a regular basis. When couples check in regularly, daily for moments, weekly, at what is arising, what is new, what changes happen this week, what am I feeling inside, what's going on, and be able to share that authentically, then you will not be left out. That brings you together. How about when you call your best friend and you say, this just happened to me today? How easy it is to call your best friend and share your new thoughts or revelations or experiences you've had while you were out there in the world. That's what keeps you connected. It's when we stop checking in, when we stop sharing and connecting what made us so happy today. Those brief little texts about, I'm so excited, I couldn't wait to share this with you. That matters to someone. That is a connection that matters. And the future, the past, none of that matters now. What's feeling and happening now is what matters. So, checking in to see what your personal edge is. Where is your area of your greatest fear? And really seeing what that is. And has this been a lifelong fear? Like, don't tackle all of them. Come up with one that you know. And again, look at that fear and look around it and see, okay, so let's say that I've gone here before. My fear is if I do this again, whatever it is, on any of the things we've been talking about, emotionally, mentally, physically, and that it will repeat itself. Well, the only thing you have power of is you changing. So perhaps you surrendering more, you opening more. Because regardless of if we're talking about partnership or something having to do with another person, it doesn't matter what we say or do or feel. Like to be in a wonderful romantic sexual encounter and just to be free and open and just be in the moment without fear of, will I see this person? Is this person going to love me forever? Nobody knows any of that. I mean, we would hope so. We would hope we're not just randomly sleeping with someone that has no feelings or care for us. Hopefully we're a little beyond that. But to allow yourself to open and surrender to places and feelings that you've never felt before. So again, looking at our greatest fear. Is our greatest fear sexually? Is it something about just asking for your needs without feeling there's something wrong with you? Again, in my counseling, it's amazing how many people are afraid sexually to express to their partner their needs or wants or any of that. And they just keep adapting until one or the other just gives up because it's not a true connection. So let's look at some other fears, like, are you afraid of heights? Is your greatest fear skydiving or bungee jumping? Is it to have a romantic commitment? Is it commitment, period? And really look to see, do a journaling exercise on what does commitment mean to you. I mean, we're looking at a world, which I love this. A friend of mine went to a workshop this weekend, as well as our Be a Relationship Architect workshop. Here's a little pun, a little pitch for us. November 16th and 17th in South Austin. It's $350 from 10 to 5. Both days, includes a healthy lunch. And if you pay by November 1st, it's only $300. That's with David Garrison and myself. Anyways, the whole point of our relationship workshop and what I'm about to say is we're in a world that most relationships are having challenges or not happy or we're not fully fulfilled because we're all looking at a reference of this little box that our parents and grandparents or whatever society has sold us. I'm going to tell you something now. There is no one on this planet that is living in that box that is 100% authentically happy and fulfilled, because that box is an illusion. That box is something projected on us as a society that this is how we're supposed to be, and we're like just playing the part, like it's like an actor in a film that is, you're not buying it because it's emotionless. So how about we look to see that what commitment is commitment for me showing up authentically, for me noticing when I'm afraid and doing it anyways to the best of my ability. That's my commitment. That's what commitment means to me. When I could commit to myself, I could commit to another person on any level, be it work or play or living circumstances or romance or love or any of that. So really do a little journaling on what commitment means to you. That's a wonderful 10-minute exercise. Okay, let's still look at some of these fears, because I've heard all of these throughout the years of different people. So buying a house. You know, people that are renting their whole life, they're like, but I'm afraid to buy the house because of the responsibility. What if I don't want to stay there? What if it's too many costs? What if all that? But if you're in a place that you can do that, take the challenge. See what it's like. You could always sell the house, but just see what it's like. What is the experience of that much financial responsibility? It's pretty great. I've known people, it's too much, and they're afraid to get a dog or a cat. I mean, I tell some people, like guys I've dated, I'm like, you don't even own a fish? Like, come on, get a fish. Have a commitment. Unless you travel a lot, no excuse to not have some kind of a pet. I'm big on pets. Some people's fear is moving to a new city, so they stay where they're at, because even though they're miserable and things aren't happening or flowing, or they're doing sub-level jobs and not making enough money and barely getting by and not meeting any connections that really fill them, instead of moving to the new city because I don't want to do it by myself, they stay where they're at and they're wasting time. How about challenging yourself to take that plunge? Give yourself a date. This is when I'm moving. This is what I'm going to do. Feel all that experience. Put all of your energy into the new choice, the new decision on any of these commitments that you're doing. I know people that their greatest fear is having a child. Do it if it's what you want. If you're single or with someone, I've known many women that have wanted children and they're like, but I haven't found the right man, and they're getting older and older. I'm like, listen, if you want a child, the man is not always a factor. And if you go forward knowing that it is about you wanting this child, perhaps you'll draw the perfect partner in. And maybe he won't be the father of your child. He may be someone you meet later in life as you mature, because you're doing things and responsibilities that have challenged you, because you're transforming into such a new person, that you're finally able to authentically draw the perfect person into you. Applying for that dream job. I've known many people that they're like, I really want to work at this place, or or my dream job would be to do this. But yet, do they apply? Do they stop in with a resume? Do they say, I want to introduce myself? It doesn't matter if you don't have the skills for it. If you see that this is your natural high, push yourself, challenge yourself, do it. This is another thing. There are more people I have met that are terrified to do anything alone. They will not go to a movie alone. They will not go out and have a meal by themselves. And I say, do it. I've done this for years. I love it. Because if I want to see a movie, I'll always text a few friends or my dad or my daughter or something and see if they want to go. If they don't, I'm not missing out on the movie. I love going to a movie by myself. I love going out for a meal by myself, with a book or my computer, or just sitting there and enjoying the food. It's all good stuff. Find that challenge. So in an area If your challenge is that you automatically tend to say no, find yourself saying yes. Just scan yourself for a moment as I'm talking and visualize an opportunity in front of you. I don't care what the opportunity is. And it's a little scary. And visualize you saying no, because it takes a lot of energy to change. So just visualize someone gives you this opportunity and you're going to say no. What does no feel like in the body? What does it actually feel like to just say no? When I say no, my breath gets shallow and it feels more contracted in the center part of my body. And it's just defined. It's just no. There's no growth there. There's no expansion. And now say yes. And just the word yes. When I say yes, I actually feel my heart expand. It actually expands and widens energetically in my chest and heart area, in my lungs. The whole core of my body opens. My mind feels heightened. The word yes is my favorite word. I have dated men and said, if you just say yes for the rest of our relationship, we'll do great. I just love the word yes. It's just like, even if you don't have a clue, just say yes. Just yes. Okay, so I had this experience years ago where so you have to know something about me. I may have shared this before. I know I wrote about it. I'm not certain if I podcasted it, but this was an experience of fear for me. So I was always terrified of heights my entire life. And I met this hot Frenchman, and he invited me we had a little quick love affair. We met in Italy. He came to Maui. That was a wonderful thing. And then he's like, come to China. So I went to China to meet him for a month, and we decided to go to the Great Wall of China and to do a hike. So me and my ignorance, not knowing too much about geography, but hearing about it, of course, in history and school, I'm like, let's do it. So we take this long bus ride wherever we were from Beijing to this place, and we get off. And of course, it's a guide speaking in Chinese, saying whatever to the group of us. And what I didn't realize they were saying is we are taking this little, like in a ski lift, those little kind of glass things going up. I don't even know what it's called. Anyways, so we get in this little cart and it's on this track going up very high. I close my eyes and start meditating because I could feel this fear coming over me, literally like I'm going to snap and what's going to happen. But there was nothing I could do. I wanted to be cool with this guy, so whatever. So I just breathed through it. He looked at me and said, are you okay? And I just said, I'm just meditating. I couldn't open my eyes and see how high up we were going. Later, I found out that you could see the Great Wall of China from space. So we were going up pretty high. Anyways, so then we start hiking, and it's up and down all of these sharp steps, these like angled steps. And we hiked for 6 miles, and of course my shoes sucked. So I took my shoes off. I was hiking barefoot, and it was so hot there I couldn't stand it. But we're hiking, and we kept challenging ourselves, like, okay, who will make it to the next point quicker? So we would like race and beat each other, and it like occupied our time. And apparently something the guide said was towards the end is that your last 2 miles you could either zip line down to the boat, then to the restaurant, and then back to the bus, or you can continue hiking for 2 miles. I mean, my feet, it was beyond what my feet were feeling at this point, walking 6 miles on stone gravel, barefoot. So we get to this point, and my friend goes, I'm out. Let's go. Let's do the zip line. We could do it together. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. It's not happening. I said, it's not happening. So he goes, okay, I'll see you down there whenever. So I sit there and I'm shaking so much because of the adrenaline, just from the hike and the initial little cart going up and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing this anyways. So I go up to the little Chinese woman who straps this thing around my crotch, and I hand her whatever money. I don't even know what she's saying to me. And she says something to me in Chinese, which I always say, that I believe she's blessing me and she's the last human I'm ever going to see because I'm about to die. So I close my eyes, she pushes me, and I'm on this, I think it was 1/4 of an inch of a steel line we're so high up, I don't even know where we're at. And that's it. And she pushes me and I feel myself moving. And then I say, screw it. My meditator comes out in me. And I'm like, if I'm going to die, I'm doing this consciously. So I open my eyes. And in that moment, I literally saw the veil of fear. And in meditation, you read about it, and I've experienced it a couple times in very deep, deep, deep concentrated meditations where I see how the mind brings a thought like a cloud. And as the thought is arising, and we can see it, witness it with our alpha state, that this is just fear, and then you lean into it, it has this very thin veil that is penetrated. It literally is a mirage. It's an illusion, the fear. And always on the other side of the fear is an area that the mind has never known before, which is why it sets the alarm of fear. So I learned from that point on, whenever I notice fear, that's kind of the direction I'm going, because I'm about to grow more than I ever have before. So I ziplined down. If I didn't have to hike 6 more miles, I would have kept doing it because I loved it. And from that point in my life, it really kept me in a place where when I notice fear, that's my direction. That's where I'm going. Unless, again, it's a warning sign because it's a dangerous thing. I'm not telling you to take drugs you don't know about or go in dangerous areas alone. So have some sense about it. But when you notice fear happens, that is your spiritual being ringing a bell saying, this is your next doorway. Pick door number 3. It's going to open you. It's going to make you more than you've ever been. So I invite all of my listeners to please come up with your most challenging fear. And for the next 30 days, all of your energy is going to go towards opening that, blasting it open, transforming yourself and being something new, stimulating that brain. And with this, I am going to offer a counseling special in case you need some guidance with this. So for $75, I'm going to do 75 minutes. And this is just going to be until the end of November. So regardless if you're a regular client or a new client, and again, I do that. We could do it by phone. We could do it FaceTime, Skype, Messenger if you like seeing me. And I will help you through whatever area that you want to strengthen and grow in. And I would love that. And my phone number to reach me, you could text or call, is 808-283-7587. If you'd like to email me, it's samana@spaluna.com. And my website is spaluna.com, spaluna.com. And my last pitch for what I'm doing. So I have a microneedling, nano, micro-channeling workshop in South Austin next Monday, October 28th from 10 to 3. That is a certification. And that is for $195. As of January 2020, my workshop prices do go up a little bit. So I am teaching this same workshop in Maui, in Haiku, Maui, at the Temple of Peace on January 13th, that Monday from 10 to 3, and that is $250. I only have 3 spots left, so any of you Mauians, I even have one of my old graduates who's going back to Maui that time just to take my workshop. I love that. I'm so excited to see everyone. And yes, so $125 is your deposit on that, and you could Venmo me. And then also in South Austin, my last esthetician workshop of the year is a lash extension on December 2nd, and that is $400. I need $200 kit deposit, and that's enough for 20 to 40 sets, and that is due by November 15th, and the class is Monday, December 2nd from 10 to 3:30. That is certification, and we provide the mannequins and the live model, and you're going to learn an hour of lecture of what not to do and what to do, how to sell your clients and tend to them, and we're going to show natural to dramatic, and it's wonderful. And my clients, students who have taken this the last 4 years, they're all making a fortune, so that's wonderful. And my last thing is my total client renovation certification. Now, I had 2 clients that sign up, and they start this week. So I love this. This is a 30-day, you talk about transformation, this is 30-day total transformational overall on every level, physical, mental, emotional, that you go through first. I charge $500 for this. This is a certification. So this goes up to $750 in January, but it's $500 right now. And we will FaceTime once a week for 4 weeks for an hour and a half to 2 hours tops. I'm going to give you a specific cleanse and alter your diet, put you on supplements, and give you so many exercises, meditations and guided meditations and physical exercises, and we're going to push you, and you're going to learn how to help your clients with this total client renovation certification. So that's it. Happy Scorpio, and I will see you next week. Aloha. Please share this with your friends.